Good afternoon, YouTube's man on the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's already the second week of September. It's kind of quiet right now. We do have a show coming up this weekend. It is the Europa Championship. Its show is in Alicante, Spain. It's been a while. It's one of the few shows outside of the United States that had its Olympic qualification for women's bodybuilding. It's the last show. Because this year they pushed the actually they took and moved Olympia from December to the 1st of November, and usually the next show is the Romania Muscle Fest, which is a qualification, but it's for next year's Olympia. So ladies, right now, whoever wants to get their pro qualifier, it's your last chance. For the other divisions such as women's bodybuilding, physique, and also the other divisions, you still have maybe 3 or 4 more shows before the time is up for qualification for Olympia. But to win bodybuilding, I wish you all the best of luck. Maybe next year we'll get some shows. So anyway, folks, we have a subject that is kind of a little touchy. I talked before on my channel, and it's the debate about breast implants. Should you get them? Are they good? Do they help you, especially as a competitor with your looks? Breast is considered very feminine. It's truthfully feminine for women, as you know. It's what makes that kind of tells, like, I have them, but they're kind of like flappy guy boobs. But it separates what men and women are, especially physically wise. But as female bodybuilders, they do lose there because breast is natural fatty tissue, and depending on what exercise you, especially if you do a lot of bench works or chest exercises, it does take that muscle does eat that tissue to build your chest. And some women, they feel they get them because it makes them feel more feminine. Some even get them before. I've known some ladies who had breast cancer before they became bodybuilders. And my old job, I used to work at a strip club. I had some dancers from girls who had breast cancer. But anyway, beside that point, we have here 2 people here. We also might have some more guests coming in later. We have here, my partner in crime, my ace boon coon. This is the man himself, Scuba Steve, one Mr. Keith Williams.
What up, people? How you guys doing today?
How you doing? He was out of town with his lovely wife. Over the weekend, it was his lovely wife's birthday, and I wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Tina. We love you.
She shipped me out to Miami. I got to go to Miami for a couple of days and just hang out on the beach where my little bro's getting married on Friday. So she's like, "Get your ass out of the house. You've been locked up for a year after my accident." So flew out to Miami, and I'm back.
Yeah, that's good. Congratulations to your brother. Best of luck to him. Yeah. Also, we have your lady who also, this is a subject that really touched for her because she is an amateur competitive bodybuilder. But also, she is a breast cancer survivor. We have here the lovely Mrs. Wendy Heaslip. And, welcome, ma'am. Thank you for joining us to talk about this subject. We appreciate your time, and we might have some more people come in later. But as we just give them time because I sent the links. I've been a little bit. I was working on some stuff. As a content creator, I get sidetracked sometimes. Like time flies. So anyway, folks, the subject is debate about breast implants. Some women get it for aesthetic reasons, especially if you are, as you know, women. As I said earlier, breast tissue is fatty tissue, and it is part of the product when you develop a muscle. Some ladies I know they have often, they make this decision if they feel like, should I get them because it makes me feel more feminine, or should I get them just because just to make me look more even out. So we're going to start here with first week. Since this is a newcomer, we talk about Miss Wendy. As you know, she is a survivor of breast cancer, and we want to get her story. How what happened with her and how she getting. Also, maybe shares how she got into bodybuilding.
Wow. Okay. Thanks. I will start off by saying that bodybuilding probably saved my life. Um, I discovered I was prepping for the first show in 2022 last year, and I was changing into my suit to practice posing, and I adjusted, and I was already like I was 4 weeks out, so I was pretty lean already. So I'm adjusting the top, and I'm like, "What's that? What's that lump? That's weird." So I was behind on my mammogram because COVID pushed everything back. The hospitals were filled, um, so they weren't doing these routine screenings for things like this. And then it just sort of slipped off my priority list, right? So I have some blame here too. So, but anyway, I went and got it checked out, and yeah. Um, got the biopsies, all that in. I remember my daughter going with me for the results, and she said, "What would happen if we go in there and they say you need to get a mastectomy? Would you do it?" And I had double A's right before, nothing. I'm a true bodybuilder, right? Like nothing. And I said, for one thing, that's be awfully cruel that with the little bitty teeny bit of breast tissue I have, I've got a tumor. But I said, yeah, absolutely. And within 5 minutes of going into the doctor's office, he said, "You need a mastectomy." Um, and he gave me the option for single or double. The tumor was only on the left side, but I decided to do both. I don't want this, he said, for whatever reason, you want, if you want it for symmetry reasons, if you want it because you'll sleep better at night, not worrying about the tumor coming back, we'll do it. So I did it. It was the best worst case scenario. It was just a surgical solution. I didn't need chemo or radiation. So um, I had the surgery June 10th, and I had the implant surgery where they do the mastectomy and they put the tissue expanders in to make space in your chest. And then in August, I got the implants in, and I didn't go through all this to go right back to the itty bitty titty committee. So,
Well, folks, we just had somebody came in here. This is a lovely lady that we know. She's been a guest on here quite frequently. The lovely Mrs. Mary Ann Wachowski. She is here. As you know, she just competed last weekend at the World Masters Championships. Congratulations! She
What's
was.
up, mama? What up, girl?
Hello, handsome.
How are
Yeah,
you?
You're
yeah,
beautiful. And I was just to your bit of your
I was
story.
just asking about you a couple weeks ago. I'm like, is she competing, George? And he didn't know.
Oh,
well, I didn't know the time, but then she told me that she was going to do the Masters show in
yeah.
Pittsburgh.
I was,
Because
yeah,
it's
like,
yeah.
you know, back and forth about competing this year. I had a lot of, anxiety. Because
Yeah, from the last time I talked to you, anyway, you were like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this shit anymore. It was after Pittsburgh last year, So
yeah.
So anyway, let's cut you off. We will go
No,
back to Miss Whitney and you said how you didn't want to go back to being the itty bitty committee, and and you
Right.
after, and that's tough because I know, like, I remember it was a few years ago, Angela Jolie, because she decided to give herself a double mastectomy because her mother died from breast cancer, and you only had it on that one side, so you decided went ahead and get them both.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Yeah, my mom did die of breast cancer, so yeah, that's another reason why
Ibuprofen, the
um
bath.
and I will say that, I mean, I never knew you could catch crumbs in these things.
Yeah.
And I, um, I did step back on stage. Um,
That's true.
so
Uh,
I competed in Masters National, came in second. So
Yeah.
next is going to be my year to turn. Knock on wood.
nice.
Good girl.
I will say that I've had great pecs before, just great. Um, I do miss that muscularity. You can't really see it.
I get it, sister.
A little bit. It's coming back a little bit, but
Great.
The upper chest looks
overall,
great, though.
my
Yeah.
figure
Upper
is
chest look great.
thanks. Overall, I would say I'm more balanced now because I've got big legs, and now that I've got big boobs and big legs,
Yeah.
I'm more aesthetically pleasing, probably to the judges. So that's my story, and that is how bodybuilding saved me. Had I not been getting so lean, I wouldn't have felt that little lump there. So um, as yeah, so I do think it helps, and I do think it's something. Whether or not the judges want to say they look at it, they do look at balance, unless you're wellness, right? Which is totally about not balance. But I do think I do think it's helped.
Yeah, and it does. I think that does help with some women, especially. It makes you feel more balanced,
Yeah,
especially especially developing your size. Because there's some women. There was like one lady I remember back in the day. I think Marianne might remember her, Colette Gourmand, and I
sure.
thought she had breast implants, but she's had huge pecs.
You
You
just had
know,
Arnold pecs.
yeah,
That
you know,
big, that real big. The human body's really amazing, and how different we all are. But yeah, she had a very unique chest.
yeah. We'll dip into Miss her slips. He slips IG for a minute, and we're gonna look at some pictures, and she tell us what she sees and shares with us her thoughts here. And this is right here. We go right here with Trick. Um, what was that feeling when we were diagnosed? You know,
It was surreal. Everything was surreal. Um, you'll see that picture right there in the middle. I just had, so I don't have nipples or areolas, and there is a nipple procedure that they sort of use with skin origami, and they make a nipple, but the skin on my chest was so thin that it just didn't. They sort of flattened out. So they can do tattoos of areolas and nipples, but I'm like, why would I get a tattoo that is not? I mean, it's not going to look like the real thing. That might look great, but it's not
Yeah,
going to look like the real thing.
right.
So I got these bees on my chest. So now that I have boobies, I don't
that,
like this. That's
that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's wild.
I
Because I
remember.
have a girl here in Missouri who does areolas for free for people who went through the breast cancer procedure.
Yeah,
And so three of my buddies, she was testing out on them. So Tina's like, "Why don't you get them on your ass?" And he got the nipples on his ass just for
I,
practice for it. But yeah,
I used to remember his show used to be on botched on
yeah.
these two doctors. They did one of the doctors. He's more specializes in breast implants, and they had to put areolas on a lady. They were
wow, you look
tattooed.
great.
You know, and
Wow, you
we'll
look
hear.
really good.
Yeah, and this is like the transformation. He's doing a little dance here. Showing off a little stuff. Wow.
Now you
Hey.
gotta right. You see out the muscle and everything. That's incredible.
Uh,
Yeah. Wow.
is, I mean, I can't even fathom. You know, I know we're all laughing and stuff, but really, I mean, what you've gone through, and then you still have the vision and the dream to finish out what you've started, what you've always dreamt of. I give it to you. I really do. I mean,
Man, much respect.
a lot of
Yeah.
pain, and I can't even imagine. But you look wonderful.
Thanks.
I have no
Okay.
doubt.
Who beat you? It's like, I want to know who beat you from the pictures.
I have no doubt.
That's all I want to know. Can we see the girl who beat her? Because that's crazy.
Uh,
What's the
okay.
last show you
Never know
competed?
what judges are looking for that day. You know,
Yeah.
On,
Now, what was the last show you competed in?
I did Masters National July 23rd.
Uh-huh.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where we should give a little a talk here. We get a little speech right here.
Something that I know all my other pink sisters go through as well. If you're an acquaintance, I mean, probably not a friend, but if you're an acquaintance and we've struck up a conversation and you've decided to follow me on Instagram, or I brought up in conversation that I had breast cancer and a double mastectomy, I can always tell when you tell your friends, because the next time I see you or your friends, it's like this. So where the first time in my life, I'm like, eyes up here, buddy. I don't care. You can stare at my boobies all you want.
yeah.
Just tell me my dick's big.
just don't touch her.
So it's been a minute, but I thought I would get on and just share something that I know all my other pink sisters go through as well. If you're
Yeah, I started a TikTok too of my journey. I've got like 20,000 followers over there, mostly women. Because when I was going through this, I was looking for, I am supplying the content I was looking for when I was diagnosed. So you want to see what it looks like, I show you that, what it feels like, all of that. So that's it. But yeah, that was this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
again,
good.
beat you.
Did someone ask me something? Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, I was just wondering who beat you.
Okay, now I'm finally
Yeah, me too.
Her name, but she did look good. She was
Hello,
bigger.
madam. Welcome. Please introduce yourself to everybody here if you have no knowledge of you yet.
Hi, I hear like a double talk. Hi, I'm Michelle Falsetta. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, me too. I hear everybody like doubling.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think somebody might have their screen on, and you might need to put on earphones, or you might, because sometimes you might get a reverberation of the echo. Because if you're watching also on YouTube and also you have the screen on at the same time, it will revert back to you. You might hear my voice again or somebody else's voice.
Should I get my earphone?
Yeah, you got basically if you so you won't have to get too much reverberation, but we want
Right,
to put you. Yeah, I'll put you on mute for a minute until you get back. So anyway, yeah, it's tough. What you went through, and we do respect that. For especially for a woman, breast cancer is one of the highest rated things that happen to women, in America, all over the world, because men, we can get it too, but we don't. It doesn't have to as often because we don't have that same genetics compared to women. Even though men and women have some aspects that are same. This is how I said it. We're the same species, with the same race, but with different species. We got here some people coming through here, making comments. This is from my man here, Warrior 2000. He says this. He says, Warrior, go ahead. There you go. He says, peace to everybody. He's also saying, okay. And he says, good afternoon. That's from man Sean McMillan. It's good afternoon to you, Sean. And also, this is from Sean. Says, it's true that some female bodybuilders have been marked down by judges because the implants are way too big. Yeah, it happens sometimes. It can take it can take away the aspects of your physique. If you think about it, because you want to come in a certain condition, and then if you mostly just, excuse my French, ladies, if you just nothing but titties and everything else, it don't look as
Takes
good.
away from your physique. As a
Yeah.
judge, I don't like it because when I'm looking at girls on stage, you got to lift up your boobs to show your abs. I'm like, it's just too much. You work hard on your body. And I understand there's girls who are not genetically blessed to have boobs, and so you want to enhance them, but make them aesthetically pleasing to your body. I don't understand these girls with these big boobs, and me and George have talked about it. That some of them just too much. Let's just say
Hey, do you know how I can get on the computer?
To me, it's all like it seems like the direction you want to take. I have implants, and I'll tell you a story that my brother, I saw
I need my iPads to go to the computer.
my oldest brother about maybe after I had the implants, and he didn't notice. So that was my point, and I went right back into my bras because I got, when I went pro, I got the conditioning. They were sacks pretty much. There was nothing left. So I just got what I had lost, because if I walk into a room, I want you to go, damn, look at those shoulders, look at those traps. I don't want you going, look at those, I mean, it's nice when you have nice ones, don't get me wrong, but that was me, you know. I see these other women now that go, I mean,
way overboard.
Now I think it's better.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, because Tina's like you, Mama. She didn't have anything. My wife didn't have anything, and she got them right after I met her, and they just look natural. So people don't even know she has implants because they just balance her body out, and
yeah,
that's what when you don't have, like, she had nothing. Like, they missed a gene because her mom has big boobs, her sister had big boobs, and she had nothing. So
yeah,
she got them done, but they're balanced with her body. If you look at her when she's on stage, you can't tell she has
yeah.
implants.
I really
You
love
know.
that. But then again, there's women like Sanchez, Victoria, what's her first name? Sanchez, the very popular. She's very flat chested.
Yeah.
But there's to me there's definitely an attractiveness to the, when you're split, and
It's
there's
better
definitely
now.
attractiveness to that, and it's definitely her signature that I think,
It's
because
better now. It's what everybody's talking.
she's huge everywhere else, and she's never ever went down that road. And then there's other women we see that but usually I think most of the women that I've seen that have go to that big are doing something else to make some money.
Yeah.
So
So
Okay, it's better
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
not.
Miss Michelle, what's your thoughts? Because I know you competed in the past as a competitor, and what's your thoughts on women who do have, like, when you got yours? Was it for personal reasons or for athletic reasons?
So the reason why I decided to get breast implants is because as I was gaining more muscle, my symmetry was not was getting worse. And for myself, I wanted to have symmetry. So I decided, let me get implants so that I will look symmetrical. I naturally had a size B breast. And as I was gaining muscle, my fat, my breast went away. So that's honestly the reason why I did it. I didn't do it for anyone else, even if I wasn't going to compete anymore. I just wanted to be symmetrical. Because before I gained any muscle and I started competing, I was symmetrical with my whole physique with a size B breast.
Mhm.
So that's the reason why I did that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's about a choice about what makes you feel comfortable, and you want to be more symmetrical as a woman. Also, that's the one thing about it. But also, the debate is, what is too much or what is within comfort. I mean, some women will go is I remember some women back in the day, like most definitely, Marianne, this lady, most definitely, you know her personally, Miss Denise Messina,
Yeah.
and she was kind of the one kind of changed it in this aspect, because there were women getting breast implants, but they were kind of moderate, maybe at the most maybe a large C.
Yeah.
And I think at one point Denise was probably the biggest at one point because I remember she used to. She like when Keith talked about how she used to be doing that, always pulling her boobs up.
And she did
You
it
know?
so. She, so
Yeah.
such a sexy,
Yeah.
my friend.
Everyone has their own likes and their dislikes. Some women get it for different reasons, obviously, than everyone else does. Say for example, Wendy, you said that you had barely anything, and you had I believe that you said that when you first got your implants, you got them so you could be more symmetrical because you lost your breast tissue. Is that correct?
So I could be more what?
You could be more symmetrical because I think you said that you had a size B. No, I think you said you had.
I was a double A.
Yeah.
And the A was if he took just one breast, then they would never really be able to match the size, because a natural breast is going to lose and gain fat.
They don't make them.
Yeah.
Don't make them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 'cause-
so I believe so. The reason why you got it was so that you can look more symmetrical as well, because you're gaining muscle.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I had breast cancer and they cut my tits off.
Yeah, she had breast cancer. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You.
Yeah, she had
Not to
breast
mention,
cancer.
not
I'm sorry.
laughing.
We're sorry.
Wendy, the way you said it, that when Wendy said they just cut my tits off, I'm like,
Cut them off.
Yeah, because she had breast
cut 'em
cancer.
up.
She had yeah. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Miss Michelle. Yeah, we came in. We should have.
Sorry, I came in late.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Because my man here, he posted. My man KL, where he is, he posted that picture the link earlier because I sent it to him. But we're good. But we're catching up now. That's all we need to do is catch up. But yeah, that is one thing that happens quite often with women who do get because when we do lose breast tissue from lifting weights or with Wendy's case from breast surgery because some women would get them for one or say why was it or he get for both to make themselves more even because it's still as society we see it breast as what makes women feminine. Men are drawn by that. Me personally, I'm a booty man because I used to work at Miss Wendy and Miss Michelle. One of my old jobs was to work at a strip club, and see booty a lot. So but I see some girls with some nice implants, but it's all right. But
that's another YouTube video because I know there are some who are getting not butt implants, but they're doing something back there.
Injections,
Yeah,
and
injections,
more the wellness girls. It's the wellness girls.
Yeah,
and it's actually a fact that are getting these ass implants. So that's why I have a problem with wellness because there's a lot of that shit going on in wellness.
Yeah, that'd be something that we talk about. But anyway, the debate is when is it get to the point where it kind of interferes with the overall physique, as and also when do the judges do they need to put in more categories, rules, like right now. I talk about this quite. Mary Ann can testify this, and so does Keith. I talk about how the judging is also like you competed a show where you felt like you had a chance to win your pro card, but the judges went in another direction. What is it that as competitors you need to feel that should be guidelines as you develop, especially physically wise?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing: we all understand that there's supplementation in our industry, and it kills breast tissue. So, as it kills the breast tissue for women, especially, that they go that direction. In my opinion, as a judge, and I'm sitting with the doctor, like I just asked my wife who's sitting next to me. I said, "What was your size before I met her?" She went from a B to a C, but it was a natural look. When I have to look at a girl on stage, and I've seen them plenty when they got to lift up their shirts to show their abs, that's too much. It's like you want to balance. I mean, it's like Wendy said, keep your eyes up here, buddy, not down here, up here. And when I'm just looking at your tits and not your physique, that's too much. And you watch girls, get that, like, not to put her out there, Isabel, who's gotten bigger, Alicia, who's gotten bigger. I'm like, why go bigger? It just takes away from your frame. It takes away from what I really should be looking at. Because no offense, I'm not a tit guy like George says. I'm not a tit guy. I'm an ass guy. So it does nothing to me. Nicole Wilkins Lee was one of the girls who, when she didn't have boobs, she when she was winning all those figure titles, she got boos because she didn't have any. I get it. But if you're going to do it, make it aesthetically pleasing to your physique so that we're looking at the overall package and not just like, oh my God, look at her boobs. That's just ridiculous. And that's what I say when I see these girls. When you got to lift up your shit for me to see your abs, what? You know, I mean, you put in too much work for me to just be looking at your tits.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Okay. So,
Wait,
ladies,
I can't
what's your stance of it? You know, with Miss Michelle, she's been in and out. You know, what's your thoughts of it, Miss Michelle? Hello, Miss Michelle. Hello, Miss Michelle. I think she might be. Says, we'll go with Miss Wendy. So, you know, what's your as Keith was
Hello,
saying?
everybody hear us?
Wait, are you there,
What?
Michelle?
Oh.
Oh, I don't want to cut her off. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, we just go ahead, Miss Wendy. We should get back
Okay.
on when she.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I'm sitting here and I'm listening. And the judge, my new, they're Thelma and Louise. There was a poll on Instagram. Thelma and Louise. They're never gonna look natural because I don't have breast tissue. They're always gonna look like two halves of cantaloupe shoved under my skin. You know. So
you're gonna have all I don't know off season yet, but I know they fill out, right, Keith?
right.
They fill out. Whoa, darn, And then when you're going into contact,
Yeah.
I think I gave 10 pounds.
Oh my God.
You can see the bag. It's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So that was one of my concerns actually when I did get the implants was, is this going to take away from the musculature in my chest? I don't want it to. So, and I think I'm an outlier in that. I do think a lot of women just want the boobs. I was never a boob person either. I didn't care. Had I not gotten cancer, I would never have gotten implants. But now looking at the bright side, it does even me out a little bit. A C, I think, is within the realm of possibility. They're perkier than they would be if they were mine. But
I ask what?
Okay, I'm back. I need a drink after all this. No, seriously. Now I can hear everybody. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about this.
Shit.
Hey, technology can be a pain. You're trying to get it straight. I know, but just do this. Just take a deep breath and say, "Food, Papa."
So much for the implants. So Wendy, I just heard that you got the implants after you had your breast mastectomy.
Mastectomy.
Yeah. Okay. So I just thought that was the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, you got yours because you want to feel more symmetrical, and that's one aspect people need to understand about. Because some women, so again, they get them because, especially I remember one lady who saw this, I was gonna do this. She said that she got it because she wanted to get it when she was 19. She wanted to get them when young, and she had them ever since she was competing. And it fits her now because how long she has. But then instead again, we have others who started out, okay, regular size, but then they just kept he said they keep getting bigger and bigger.
You're going, George.
Yeah.
Super size.
Yeah, super size.
Bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets to the point where I'm like, I've also laid on social media. I say I don't know why. I don't know. There's one thing I know. Some guys like it, but then I'm thinking I don't know. You look like she'd be like in extra speed bag in Rocky Balboa movie.
Extra speed bag in the Rocky Balboa movie.
No, I mean that personally, it looks more like you're going towards more like porn, like more like
seriously.
Bodybuilding porn.
Well, it's just like she said.
Yeah. I mean, because
she said, she said if you're on these sites, he's like, what do you call them, beat the meat sites, George? Yeah, I get it. If that's what that's what George called beat the meat sites. If that's what you're into, and that's how you make your chips, then that's why But if you're on stage and your main thing is to go on stage, it's one of those things where, as I look at Wendy, as a judge, I'm looking at upper chest because we don't see judges' whole chest anyway.
Right,
So
right.
the upper chest, if you look at Arnold and people in Lou Ferrigno who have these chests, and even you look at bodybuilder guys these days, they don't have the development in their chest because they're not training the right parts of their chest to balance out their bodies. So as a
Correct.
woman, when you're looking at a person, as I'm looking at Wendy, you can see her upper chest and it's developed. When you look at Tina, my wife sitting next to me, you can see once it pops out, but that's not what we're really looking at. We're looking at the balance of the complete body.
Hmm.
Chest is one aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
guys stop doing the whole calf implant shit. Because judge will tell you, we don't really look at fucking calves.
Thank
Not
God.
really. We don't really look
Yeah.
at it. It's better, and for me as a judge, it's better to look at a woman. It's better to look at a woman for a balance in their body versus these ridiculous moves that you see these days.
Yeah. But this is a man, KL Wonder. I picked up earlier, and here he is.
Right?
He says, "Stop trying to make me look incompetent. I just messed up a little. I can't. It can't stop me. You're making yourself there. So man, so why you put yourself out there? But yeah, it's a debate
That's one
about
lady.
Well, and
what the
where do you,
where the
There we go. Hey,
yeah, what the judges want from competitors, and you might tell one competitor, okay, come in with this conditioning, or you tell somebody come with that, and then it's just so much suggestion. What they want y'all ladies to go, and how they want you to go.
I I personally stopped. I believe my last competition was 2007 or 2008, and honestly, the reason why I stopped competing is that I was really besides myself because I'm like, I'm looking better every show, but yet the judges are telling me put on more muscle, and for me, everyone has their own thing, but for me, I felt that at 5'4", 175 pounds off season, that was good for me. I didn't want to be 200 pounds off season. That just wasn't me. And I felt that the more muscle I put on, the more drugs I would have to take, which I was fine with taking drugs, obviously, because we all take drugs and, if you're going to look a certain way. But I was at my limit, and I just felt to myself, if I keep on, listening to these judges and going according to what their criteria is, I'm going to wind up hurting myself because they're not doing this to their body. And then sure enough, that's what my mother always said, go with your gut. So I went with my gut. And then sure enough, the year after, bodybuilding they were kind of swaying away from women's bodybuilding and going more towards physique. So a lot of the women bodybuilders had to go towards physique. And I'm like, thank God I didn't put on all that muscle, because then I would really be screwed, because physique, they wanted a softer look, they wanted smaller. And I was like, you know what? I went towards with my gut, and that's exactly what I did. And that's just my experience. I mean, I'm not saying that this stands stands true for everybody, for all the women. But that was my experience. And then after all that, I was like, you know what? I did my time. I competed for 15 years. I'm good. I made a name for myself. And then, of course, as all of us know, we don't make money in bodybuilding. We make money with everything else because of bodybuilding, right? Yeah, right. I mean, really, that's how it is. And I thank God for bodybuilding, because if it wasn't for bodybuilding, I wouldn't have everything that I have right now, as far as financial and my reputation and everything like that. So I do have a lot to thank bodybuilding for. However, I'm glad that I was smart enough to stop when it was my time to stop competing.
Yeah.
Well, I asked a question because the two women as bodybuilders in bodybuilder was Linda Murray and Iris Kyle, right?
yeah,
They didn't
Yeah.
have they didn't have boobs,
yeah.
and they got the most titles out of anybody. They're
Right.
the elite and echelon of women's bodybuilding, and they didn't have boobs. They did not have boobs. Linda Murray and Iris did not have boobs, and they're winning
Right.
shows, huh?
Well, correction. I'm correct you this shit.
But
Linda did get breast implants after her. Oh, she broke her glasses. I'm sorry. That'd be all right. Just need to take, be like a nerd.
Get some tape.
But I'm a question, Keith. Linda did get breast implants, I think, right after her third Miss Olympia win.
Yeah.
Iris, she got hers maybe a little bit before her first win. They did
But
eventually get some, but
but
they didn't
they
develop.
look natural. But
They
they
were
look
natural. They
natural.
were natural for a long time. But after
No,
the
I'm
second,
saying
third,
they look natural. They don't.
yeah.
If you look at Linda and you look at Iris,
I never know.
you're looking at them at the age they are now. You can never. You can. I would never know. And I stand to be corrected. But that just tells you. I see them all the time, and I would have never knew that if you wouldn't have said that because they look natural on them.
Yeah, because there's some women who can like. I know one lady who I interviewed, we're really cool with her. I
Fucking
told this to my last interview with Andrea Sauer how she has a nice physique, great pectoral, but her breast implants don't take away too much. Kind of like with Wendy, hers don't take away too much away from her chest. She has great. You can see under her
Nope.
shirt how where protects her pecs are. You know,
Yep.
some like I know guys on my channel they have a debate have out it's like, especially some who I'm talking about, Keith, certain guys who's on here, they sometimes not here today, well, I don't know where they are now, but they talk about how Andrew's gonna lose, what's what's gonna win. Then I tell like this, and I know who they're talking about. We know who we're talking about, Keith, ladies,
Yeah. We already
yeah,
know what they're talking about.
we
Yep.
we, 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 we we tell them this woman, she has a great physique, but one thing is her breasts take away too much away from her physique.
Yep.
If she was more like Andrea, where she was more even,
Balance.
balanced,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, she could be a threat. But she's not balanced enough. And
Yep.
yes, I know she's attractive, but that's not enough.
Nope.
You have to have balance. And if he does have that bonus of attractiveness, if you're an attractive woman,
Yep.
some women might not have that. Like one example, Sarah Vigas, she's not the prettiest belle at the ball, but she always come in, aesthetically pleasing.
Position.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this year was her best year. Last year was her best year. But from pictures I've seen from now, look like she might, I don't know, come back for a title.
Yep.
Wasn't a thing a few years ago about Dana Lynn Bailey? I forget who her rival was, but Dana Lynn
Drew
Bailey
McCarr.
won physique one time, and then all the years after that, it might have been one or two, but they blamed that she didn't go in for the augmentation, and that's why she didn't win.
I don't think that's true.
No, because
And here's the thing, dude. If you really think Dana gives a shit, she makes more money doing things else than
I
competing
know,
in women's
but
physique.
it's a rumor that, and all it takes is that rumor, for women to go run to the plastic surgeon's office.
Right, for the
Yep.
women that don't know any better.
yeah, because
Exactly.
I saw this video of Daly Bailey working out. I sent it to some ladies. They love Daly Bailey, and I respect the fact that women like her, Sarah Vilgas, Andrea Shaw, Sheila Black, one lady I've become really great good friends with, Miss Alicia Flario. Many of those ladies who have not, as I call it, bend the knee to silicone or saline, whatever. They kept it, because
Yep.
one thing is, getting breast implants is expensive. It's not. It's like it's just
Exactly.
about. It is probably one of the biggest expense.
Mine were
Among-
free.
Your insurance paid for them, so that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, I paid for them. I mean,
Yeah.
I paid for them.
Yeah, well, it's sitting in your pocket. But yeah, it's just that I think some people should think about it. We make a decision, because one thing is, like, I hear stories how getting, like just like getting tattoo, it's just addictive. A while back, Margie, she had to get hers redone because there was an issue. She has like compensation right there in the corner. That's one thing. I think some women tell me like sometimes they have to go in every 10 or 15 years. I think Miss Michelle, do you that is last time you're done. Did your doctor give you assessment on how often you need to come in? Because it's like anything, like having a car. You always got to make sure everything's checked out.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposedly every 10 to 15 years, like you're saying. I waited 20 years. And what happened was I waited 20 years because I just didn't want to have surgery. I just didn't want to have any downtime or anything. And then when I actually went in, my left implant was I have silicone, so my left implant was ruptured, but you couldn't really tell in a sense because it's silicone, so it was still there. I kind of knew something was not right, so when I went in to have I finally said, okay, let me just go for it. Let me get another implant, and that's when the doctor told me when I had the surgery, my second surgery to have new implants done. He said he had to like scoop out all the silicone because it was there probably for years, and I didn't realize it. Yeah.
Wow.
So of course, with all that, I always get my mammograms every year, and they for women that have breast implants, that they have to do also a sonogram and a mammogram in addition to that when you have implants because they do like a double. So what happened was I had to get a sonogram and mammogram just to make sure that everything's okay, and it was just a really big scare, and it was just really because of my negligence that I was being lazy and I just didn't want to have another surgery. And I was like, oh, it looks good. And what are they saying? 10 years, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, because they're only doctors, right? So, I know better. I know my body. I'm being sarcastic. And that, that's what happened. But thank God, yeah. So after 20 years, I got another set of implants. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that. One thing because I know there was like issues because there wasn't back then, especially when breast experiment came, I think, good part of the '90s. There was we should go with saline because it's a salt with water, but then because silicone is a lot more firmer, it gets that natural look,
right.
But then because there wasn't reinforced back then, that's when they started like have issues. Some women start getting breast cancer because of this, because the silicone affected their breast tissue. It's tough. I mean, and it's just. I don't know. There's a lot of things. We guys, we can never really understand what we wouldn't go through. We got here, my man Sean. Man, Sean, with my man Sean Mill right here. Sean coming in. Wait a second. There you go, Sean.
What?
Sean said, when I first started following women's bodybuilding, most of them were flat-chested, and years later, you can count the flat-chested competitors on one hand. Yeah, he's saying that. And also, my man KL, he said this. He says, KL says, wow, the judges don't care. Well, yeah, but you can say that. That's a debate.
Well, I guess the question to ask you ladies is, what do you guys agree or disagree with that? Do you think the judges care or don't care about if you have boobs or not have boobs? Like my wife is next to me, she goes, they don't give a shit.
Every one of them told me that.
And every one of them she said every one of them has told her that they don't give a shit, about the boobs.
The fact
So
that we call what we bring ourselves to the stage in a package. I hate that term.
Yeah.
But a package is the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe, like you're saying, Wendy, it is a package. So when all the women are there, you have the package, and the package with the implants may be aesthetically pleasing, even though the person next to them doesn't have the implants and has a similar physique, right? But then when it comes down to it, it's a bodybuilding show, right? So implants are not muscle, right? So it's going to come down to who has the most muscle. So if the person that has the most muscle aesthetically and aesthetically pleasing has the implants, she's going to win. She's not going to win because of the implants, because according to the judges don't care, right?
What if all others are equal, though? We have the same muscle, only I've got implants and you don't.
Right, exactly. But initially, you're going to be like, oh wow, she's hot because she has big boobs, like that's what guys.
Oh, and I would say if it was bikini or even wellness, that's where Hawaiian tropical bullshit. That's when that becomes relevant. And you guys' sport is bodybuilding. I tell people all the time, bodybuilding. I don't give a shit about your boobs whatsoever because again, as I'm looking at Wendy in this picture, your upper chest is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at your boobs. When you hit a side chest and I can see the striations in your upper chest, I'm not looking at your main part of your boob. I'm not. I'm looking at when you hit the side chest, the striations. Yeah, I'm looking at the cross striations in the top of your chest, the upper pec. That we're talking about. And Wendy, you have great development, as I can see, in your upper chest. When you hit a side chest and you turn to the side, That's what we're looking at. I can give a shit less about your boobs or your nipples or anything else like that. I'm like, do I see the caustrations in her chest when she hits her side chest? That's what I'm looking at. What's her chest development? We know you guys got boobs already. Yeah, some do and some don't. But again, that's a preference thing to what you're looking at. But again, I can say as a judge and judge all Chad Nickel and Kim Shizelsky shows, I can give a shit less about a boob and how big
Yeah.
they are. That
Well,
is a thing where if you're going to do it, I say this because I've dated three girls who all got boobs. It's be aesthetically pleasing to your body, so it takes nothing away from your look, in my opinion. But when you
yeah.
look at Isabel, when we talked about this George and Alicia Young, where you got these things that look like porn star shit, and the girl over in Romania, porn star shit. I mean, it just looks ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
a clown. It's just a as we say, cartoonish.
we talked
It's
about
Yeah,
just
yeah. Isabel, well, Rolando G is here saying it should not matter that look. That's why FEBs resort to other activities. Yes, Also, he says this, Rolando. He says, personally, I'm a man like me does not like flat chested female bodybuilders. That's just me. I love the boobs. Well, that's the thing. Is you're a man, and that's every man's preference. Like I said, personally, I'm not a be all boob man. If you got a nice pair, you got enough. No more than a handful. I'm fine with it. But
yep,
we all know that even though this sport is a sport of athletes, is a sport of presentation, there is always going to be sexualization of you women in this sport. And when you make the choice to, okay, should I stay natural? People might say the word, let's say natural. We know we're talking about natural. When we say natural, we're not talking about the other stuff. We're talking about, should I stay like I am? Or should I, alternate a little bit? Maybe if I do this or do that. But here's the thing: is that this is the danger of getting breast implants. Like, one thing is like breast toxicity. Because a while back there was a bodybuilder. My name is I think Tina competed in the same show with a while back. Brittany Larson. That was at the 21
yep,
Tampa. Brittany had
yep.
got hers taken out because she had gotten sick. There's a fighter by the name
Start
Kat
leaking.
Zingano.
They
Mhm.
start
Yeah,
leaking.
yeah. A fighter by the name Kat Zingano. She had her removed because of breast toxicity.
I can't imagine
Um, it,
fighting with
it, hmm,
implants.
what? There's quite a few MMA fighters that have breast implants. I can,
I
like people like,
box. I would love to box more.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it won't be too much close combat and somebody fighting, you got big boobs, but it's just that that's the danger of when you get them. Either, and you got to remember also, it is considered major surgery. And there's been a
Yeah.
situation. There was a young lady who was she was dating the girl from Wild 'N Out. She went in. I don't know sure what it was, breast implants or something. She had died. And you gotta remember, you're going under the knife, especially if you. And people think about, you're not dying from surgery. You're dying from if they use like too much, you know,
Anesthesia.
anesthesia. That sometimes that's
Yep.
most of some of the cases. That's a chance you take.
Kanye West mom died going underneath the knife getting boobed up. Huh?
Hmm.
Mhm.
They told her not to do it, and she died, and she did it anyway. They told her it was a risk, and then he wants to sue the doctor. I'm like, how old is your mom? Kanye 60? What she need
Yeah,
boobs
I think.
for?
Joan
Yeah,
Rivers.
Watch it.
Joan Rivers. Yeah, I love Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
Great comedian. And she went in. And she was like about 80.
Yeah, she was pretty old.
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
know she done like he always joked about her getting plastic surgery, her nose like that. If you go back to old like how she used to, but then how she looked, you know, but it's just that decision that should this be a sacrifice you ladies make for yourselves, just for either for one thing, which you wouldn't it's for medical reasons, and also like I say, it makes you more aesthetically, more pleasing for yourself, but also is it something that is it worth the sacrifice if it's especially if something goes wrong.
Well, I think everything's got a risk, and we each personally weigh
yep,
those risks and decide. I've seen the Believe me, I've been a target of, breast implants cause breast cancer or cause implant illness and blah, blah, blah. And I've researched it and I've asked my doctor and all that. And there's no direct link to the implants. There's something with the scar tissue. In 500 cases, I think, of all time, there's been some sort of cancer associated with that. But 500 is not even 1% of the number of women who have had breast augmentations. That said, again,
Well, I have a question for you, ladies. Did you get boobs because of you were competing, or did you get boobs because you just wanted boobs? I know, Wendy, your situation is different because you have breast cancer, but why did you get them?
Well,
Make me feel better.
why don't I?
Well, let's start first. We go ahead. We go ahead with Miss Wendy. We go first. We go with Mary Ann, and we go with Miss Michelle. So go ahead, Miss Wendy. You start.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay, yeah, I could have gone flat, and some women do, but I really did worry then about what judges would think if I went flat. I didn't entertain it for long, but
Yeah.
I do know plenty of other pink sisters who have gone flat. They don't compete, but
Yeah.
But on top of that, it was just to feel as much normal as I can.
Yep.
I had, however small they were before, breasts, and I'm a woman. I want to present to the world that I am, I do have these things
Yep.
that make me a woman. And again, like I said, I wasn't going to go get AA implants. I don't even think they make those.
Yeah.
So, let me get some C's. I think that's a reasonable size. So,
Yeah. Okay, then Mary Ann, your reason why you got them.
I don't think that I needed them for bodybuilding for competition, because I think I had enough to, as women, we all know how to deal with what we have. So they kind of got empty, but I could put them where I needed to put them. But I think it was, it made me feel better when I was naked to have a little, fullness, and kind of when I was younger. But I've never, I'm an athlete. I was always athletic. I couldn't imagine having these big things to deal with. plenty enough. And I like the fact that I show you what I have, you don't see it. They're small enough to not be, but that's me. Again, I think a lot of women, and a couple that you mentioned, they are all in a different direction. They do a lot,
Your date of birth.
A lot of other work that makes them a lot of money. And being someone who's, especially right now, is financially busted after trying to, compete for another year, and now they're charging to get into the show. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy with what I got, and I think that a lot of the women who go that big they're taking their careers into another direction, which money at. There's a lot of people that'll pay money for that. So, that's that.
And you, Mr. Chair, as you were saying, talk about as you say, your reason. You always say about your reason, but as you were mentioning about the whole thing of aspect about the dope part of it, as you mentioned earlier, and that's one factor about as you talk about the the adult, how some women go in direction with your porn and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I believe when you get to have ginormous boobs, it's clearly for me, it doesn't seem like you're getting them to compete on stage. It's for other reasons. And if that's the case, fine. Yes. You get just like you said, that you're going to get paid a lot of money for it. Fine. I have no problem with that. But don't turn around and say, well, I got them this big because my muscles got this big and I need to, look symmetrical. Like, that's not symmetrical anymore. No. It's not. But again, bodybuilding, women and men, especially women being in bodybuilding, has opened up doors to so many different avenues and careers whether everybody agrees on where they're going or whether they don't agree. Everyone has their own journey, right? So bodybuilding has opened up that journey for them. And I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as you can sleep at night, then good for you. You know, I can sleep at night. I'm fine with all of my decisions. And I have nothing against anybody else's decisions.
Yeah,
You know,
like
that's
this.
how I look at it.
I want to because I know a lot of ladies who don't have them. They do OnlyFans. It does bring in the guys, particularly, especially. I would say if you break it down, the majority, especially in this country, is mostly going to be focused on big boobs because that's the majority. But you see how the guys are like a little bit more, a little curvier look to it. You like a little bit more even. But there's some guys out there, they're like a little bit like olive oil, like 6 o'clock straight up and down. We have here my man. Well, he used to be my man, but we're cool now. Roy, Roy says this, and I wait to see Roy coming up. He says, if you go for the Brazilian silicone, you won't get any issues. To be honest, you just gotta change it by every 12 years. One of my best friends, she's trans. The silicone should be expensive. That's all. Also, yeah, okay. And also, he says, here he goes. He says this. You give him, it's kind of slow. It should have hooked up to the what's the face? He says this. He says implants add up to femininity aesthetics and looks good in the quarter turns. Well, I would say if you look at like certain divisions, especially like Keith mentioned earlier, wellness, bikini, figure, those divisions are more, even though if you look at figure now, how it's evolving. A while back I was like on a while back I was like following the female bodybuilding channel, and there was it was like the show Jessica. It shows it showed a figure. What I saw was a woman, and I know it was. I wasn't sure it was. I thought first it was Evie Rain at first, but then went down and I saw it was Jessica Reyes Padilla. And I said, that's wow. I mean, but I think the aesthetics are just keep changing. You go from Richard Lesh to Corey Everson. Richard Corey got him. Then you go from Corey to Linda, then from Linda to Iris, then from Iris to Daly Bailey, then from Daly Bailey to Julie McCarr, then to Shanique Grant, then to Andrea, and then to Natalia. And then you look at people like Cindy Gillen doesn't have them, but then you have someone like Lola Montez, and then you might say most of the bikini division have them because you don't ever see any bikini competitor without anything lower than a D cup.
Yeah, but bikini is mostly tits and ass anyway. Come on, there's no muscle.
It's ass anything.
Come on.
Well, she's right. She's not wrong.
Yeah,
again, if that's what you want to go for, fine. But don't say that. I mean, like it irks the shit out of me that people say that bikini is a fitness competition or is an athletic. Wait, what do they do? Are you serious? Come on, don't even get me started over here. Really, I mean, because we know how hard we work to gain the muscle that we do and the diet that we do, and then you have these bikini girls that have come up to me to ask them for me to help them with their workouts and with their diet, to coach them. And then when I start to, oh no, it's too hard. I don't want to put muscle on. Really? You're laughing. It's funny, right? It's funny because you feel me on this one. Really? Yeah. I mean, so it's just like, so it's not, so bikini division, of course they have to have boobs because they want to be sexy. They want to be tits and ass. It's a tits and ass show. That's how they're selling the tickets. That's how they're also selling the tickets. Come on.
That's why I call truthfully bikini and wellness, they're the tits and ass divisions. If you look at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, he kicked out women's bodybuilding. He kicked out physique. Just kicked that figure last year. Only thing left is fitness. I don't know how long he's going to stay there. But then you still have wellness and bikini. They'll talk about debate how there's so many competitors at the last Olympia. There was barely maybe a little over 20 women in bodybuilding and maybe over 20 something in women's physique. But then when you have promoters that have like 100 bikini shows, 100 wellness shows. You know, why you blame these other divisions where you have one division where it's like I did an interview with a lady who was a doctor and she's also a bikini competitor, but because she said basically because it's a very more aesthetically pleasing division, and you can really just put it together and just it's like this hot and fresh and you put it out there.
Yeah.
But that's a matter of opinion. Who's to say that it's more aesthetically pleasing? Someone that doesn't like muscle, or somebody that does like muscle says that bodybuilding is more aesthetically pleasing. So that's not like a fair statement. It's really not.
It's not.
Think about it.
But you do get. Like, I spoke to somebody yesterday, and you'll get a kick out of this. And it was a fan, and it was like, and I was, I don't mind engaging people. I like to talk, and he basically was embarrassed to admit, and he doesn't admit it to his friends that he likes women with muscle. Now I'm good.
Oh, come on! I hear that all the time.
That's crazy. It's usually this is why I when I do my interviews, and from ever since I started this content, started doing content on you ladies and following you ladies for years, I hear stories of guys saying, "I don't like these big muscle women," but then somebody will tell me, "Hey, George, I'll get DMs from dudes who was no more than 10 minutes ago telling me they don't like me, and then they say I like you," or because Marianne, I've done this in my interviews. I tell guys no D pics, don't send these lady D pics, but it's funny how I'm telling you, I'm much post smoke, because when I started following bodybuilding, I followed do like the Arnold Schwarzenegger era, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney up to Dorian Yates, but then when I get to my teenage years, you ladies were just something different for me. And it was just something, for a little country boy out here, something I've never seen before. And it's just a year ago, I went to my first bodybuilding show, and I get to meet these women in person. And you gotta remember, y'all women, and to talk with y'all and to follow y'all and to know stuff. I really respect your passion, but like I said, there are those people that they're not comfortable with the idea of women with muscle. And then most definitely, if you get breast implants, it does make you look more feminine, but to aspects of how you look or how you develop as an athlete.
Well, we know a particular person, George, we know, who said they didn't want to go to women's bodybuilding. We will never say her name on our show, but said I wouldn't go to women's bodybuilding because I want to stay pretty. And I'm like, and you're saying this to Lena Popa and you're saying this to Linda Murray, and they're telling her to move from women's physique to women's bodybuilding. In her exact words, because I was sitting right there, so I can say it verbatim. I don't want to go to women's bodybuilding because I want to be pretty. I want to be feminine. So I said, so what you're saying is not all women bodybuilders are pretty. And I'm like, I know I sleep to a beautiful woman. Sleep next to a beautiful woman every night that looks nothing like a fucking dude. Because if she did, I'm like, we're done. We're done.
There's a reason.
We are done. But here's the thing. We have to understand. We have to understand that that's a but here's what we know. It's a mixed thing, and a lot of it's like I told a guy in the gym. I had a funny story. Remember Luke Skywalker, baby got backs, and the girl goes, "Oh my God, baby, Becky, look at her butt. It's way too big." Now, no excuse, ladies, when I say this. Now, every bitch in the gym is doing booty exercises. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Every girl in the gym is doing hip thrusts, lunges, squats. But back in the day, it was taboo. White girls didn't want booties. Now every white girl in the gym is doing squats. Real talk.
I'm a quick right there, Keith. That was Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Luke Campbell did bring the strip club into rap music. Like, really, you can blame.
But every girl in the gym is doing booty exercise now. Every time I turn around,
one person you can blame: Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
The hip thrust. I'm like, are you kidding me? You do
that. I said, what? My question to you women is, why does a girl need to do 315 pounds on the hip thrust?
Who wants to start first? Raise your hands.
Answer that question for me.
Hands up. Anybody want to?
Anyone answer that question?
Because in their minds, the more weight that they can thrust, their booty will get bigger, which is bullshit, as we know.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that's what it is.
I tell people all the time. I said, I go to a gym where I say, You motherfuckers, I said, you guys get ran out of the gym in business if you got your damn cameras and selfies and all the bullshit that you try to go. You don't get big on your phone. You don't put muscle on your with it being on your phone. You get muscle working out. God damn. I'm like, these girls in the gym, put your phone down. And my wife gets it all the time at the gym. Girls walk around with these little outfits on. I go, and they ain't in half the shape they are that she's in, but are disrespectful as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Seriously, it's the
I
craziest
work out
thing
Planet
ever.
Fitness, so they tell you you're supposed to be cutting. So, here we got here, man. Roy says, just love Michelle's outspoken attitude. Just love her. Bikini has nothing to do with bodybuilding. Can't agree anymore with her. Bikini is BS. Miss Michelle, you have a fan. Shout out to my man
Hey,
Roy.
hey, Michelle, we
Thank
know
you.
Michelle, we know what it is. Like I say, if you want a tits and ass show, then implants are for you because that's I'm not being disrespectful to bikini, but it's a tits and ass show. It's Miss Tropicana, just an
It
elevator trip,
is.
Miss Tropicana. Am I
Yeah.
It
lying,
is,
ladies? I
and
mean,
listen, I am very outspoken, and I'm not afraid to say whether you want to agree with me or not. But just like I had said, and this person had thank you so much for acknowledging what I said. But you know damn well, so many people believe the same thing. They just don't want to say anything because they're afraid to say something to hear some controversy. I mean, that's how it is. But
Well,
I mean, like
yeah.
you hear the frustration, right? I mean, because we put in so much damn work for our career for all of this bullshit to come in, and for like women, like you were saying, what were you saying? That your wife is saying that she sees like all these skinny, these little girls that are walking around with like these outfits with this big attitude. Why do they have an attitude? They have attitude because they're getting stared at by all these men. They're getting hits on Instagram. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. That I don't. You know what? I'd rather be making money and be placing higher in a show than have 100,000 followers on Instagram. Come on now. I mean, that doesn't
well,
tell me that I'm
here's a
doing
prime
well.
example. Kim Shashesky told me some story. She said she was getting ready for Olympia because I'm very good friends with them, and she's one of the winners, one of those top girl women too in her era. And she said she was walking through a store, and this lady was like, "Look at she has AIDS because she sucked down and dried out." Now, mind you, you know where this shit comes from. These fat ass people. But let one of you guys say some shit about them. Let you say
Yeah.
some shit about them. Like people look at my wife all the time, like we own and run a bar, and people like come in. Is that a man or is that a female? And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, are you serious?
I
Guys, come here.
mean, your wife. I mean,
It's ridiculous. I mean, if people see my wife, she looks nothing like a dude. She has fucking kids,
She
and
absolutely
I mean,
does not. She
yeah,
absolutely does
it
not.
was
yeah.
as one lady. We had our son that we just adopted, and she goes, "Oh, I'm sure she's the babysitter. That can't be her kid." Uh,
Uh,
I'm like,
My
That's
yeah,
fucked
and
up.
God,
yeah,
that
and I'm
is.
like, I said, we have a daughter. She lost a son, her first son, so that's why we adopted. We both got fixed and decided not to have any more children. But these are the
Yes.
people that you ladies have to deal with, and it's fucked up. These are the people that you have to deal with because I was like, because you can't do it and you don't understand it. And that's the shitty thing about women's bodybuilding is that people don't understand it. Oh, she looks like a dude. Why? Because she got muscles. She can lift more than you.
right.
It's the craziest shit
Yeah.
ever.
Well,
At the end of the day, it's a taboo. It's kind of a taboo in our industry, male or female. It's a niche thing. It's not a main. It's not a main line. It's not a mainstream sport. It's a niche thing. You have to be in this, but not everybody. Like when everybody asks me about bodybuilding, I go Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's what y'all fucking gotta say.
Yeah.
loose
I'm
window.
doing Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I
Yeah,
knew.
Arnold.
Behold, well,
Because people don't understand it. They don't understand what God.
Yeah.
If they don't understand what I do, they damn sure not gonna understand what you ladies are doing.
yeah.
No, of course
Well,
not.
It's
listen,
No,
real
I'm
life.
sure.
let me get,
Uh,
let's give Miss Winnie a little voice because I know everybody wants to talk here, but she's the one who's really her story is the one that really interests me the most of what she went through, and she's still here, and and God bless you, lady. I mean, I know I don't I know I wouldn't know if somebody told me that I had the disease and survived, still here. But what's your thoughts, especially you're still in the NPC, you're still climbing up, is debate about the importance of being a woman in the sport and the debate of femininity.
I mean, my experience has been the same as the ladies here and all of physique or bodybuilding. Femininity is what you make it. too. I believe it's. I mean, there's cliches, there's tropes. I'm not going to go shoe shopping, purse shopping, shopping for makeup. No, it's not me. It's not. I mean, there are some women in this industry who Alyssa Kiesling is one of them, classical queen. She is by all accounts tomboy, not overly feminine. Put her on that stage and you cannot take your eyes off of her. It's more star appeal and more like the aesthetic of look at your body. Or Sarah, what's her last name? It's escaped. Yeah. You just can't help but stare and look, because you do appreciate the work and everything that's gone behind it to sculpt out that physique. Even and my experience in the gym with men and how is probably the men are friendlier than the women, because the women will give you that side eye because you're muscular.
Catty. Very fucking catty.
The dudes know what it takes to put on the muscle, so they're more like, yeah,
Yeah,
But,
and the women are confused.
Yep.
That too sometimes.
Some of the men,
But I'll ride. Ask him if they need me to open any jars for him or anything. But,
or spot them because you lifted more weights than they are.
Yeah,
I see that a lot.
That's always the mindset of a lot of women.
Femininity is what you make of it, and I mean, and maybe that is why some women do get the boobs, because they want to harken back to that. But it's also like what resonates. I don't think a particularly girly girl is going to be drawn to women's physique or bodybuilding. They're going to be in the bikini and figure and maybe wellness. But I think all you need to really know about those divisions are their mandatories to let you know.
Yeah.
I'm not shoving my vagina back to the first 3 rows in a show.
Hey, I said I've heard this quote about that particular division. It's a basic bitch category.
I'm sensitive, sensitive. Yeah, it's just the thing is, like I said again, it's always going to be debate about what is considered feminine. Should you get them? Should you don't? Or you feel like they're more important than than necessary? Like I said again, I'm not a be all titty man. If you got a nice pair, as a guy, I'm going to look. But me personally, I do prefer the women who have natural pecs. The great look to it. I've talked with some ladies that it's more of an art that bodybuilding is. Where you said again, being a sculpture, it's shaping your body.
Yeah.
But then
George, what did Sandy and Steve say about Andrea Shaw? There's Andrea Shaw and everybody else. Because what she represents is a balance of femininity, class, and I've heard girls backstage. My wife, as she gets ready, she's 2 weeks out from the World Championships, hate Andrea Shaw. Oh, she poses like a bikini girl. No, her presentation's on fucking point. She's taken some of the women's physique, some of the women's bikini, some of women's bodybuilding, and made it into her own thing. And when you look at her ass on stage, that's why Sandy and Steve goes, there's Andrea Shaw and everybody else, because there's a balance between muscle, conditioning, and everything else we got with that girl. On top of her personality is amazing. Like I told her, and my wife is coached by the same coach. You wouldn't even tell that Andrea Shaw is the 3-time world champion, 3-time Miss Olympia, because she carries her such in such a way that she's approachable, she's feminine, and I'm not even. I love black women, but I'm not attracted to black women. But she is absolutely gorgeous when she's on stage.
Yeah,
she's absolutely gorgeous.
Hey, big bro, I got the opportunity to see her when I went to Savannah last year. She was doing a guest posing, her and Mona Firstele, and it was great to see her. I mean, up there, and she made comments on my IG where I post stuff. She is the standard. If you see now, there's like some kind of little caddy between the former Miss Olympia physique champ and the current Miss Olympia physique champ, but you don't see that with Andrea. I mean, she's just
no.
I mean, one lady I interviewed a while back, Miss Eunice Kitchens. She told how she was just nice to her, how she treated her. A lady, my name is Lena. She just turned pro also a while back. She said the same thing.
Well, you remember what I told you, George, when she was on stage at the last Olympia in Orlando, and Margie and Helena was up there talking all this shit. Oh, I'm bringing conditioning. And Andrea just sitting there is like, okay, that shit doesn't mean nothing until you get on stage. She sat there and smiled at them, and guess what? She whooped their ass again. And neither one of them are. Yeah, Margie's now retired now, and Helena's not competing, and that's what you have to like about this girl. It's like she flies under the radar, but when it's time to shine, shit, she's something different, and she has that balance of like all of these women are talking about that balance, that elegance, that humbleness, and everything else that makes. And the one thing I appreciate what Michelle and Wendy both says, these women who have these implants, as we talk about all this stuff, need to be sure to have these mammograms and don't ignore them, because now I've heard Michelle and Wendy both says, just let the shit blow by, and I need to take care of my body, because if I don't take care, especially when you have implants, something bad can happen. And given that information out to these other women in the world who have implants is a very important thing that we should make sure that these women or whoever's listening should understand that they need to do as well.
Yeah, because it's good to be educated on this. You just can't go to like for a good while. Some plastic surgeons weren't even board certified. You could be. I remember I used to watch the show Botch. You could be a dentist and be a plastic surgeon. There's women who had. I've seen pictures where they had some ladies who post stuff who had very bad boob jobs. And then you had women who say that, it was just the reason why. One lady I remember, Barbara Caridi, she quit because, she wasn't placing too well. Because your boobs are way too big. You know that you're not going to place well where it takes away from the aesthetics of your physique.
Here's a question, George, I have for these ladies. Here's a question I have for you ladies. What makes up, like, I've seen some really bad in this one particular person, going under versus over, what makes you decide that? I've heard going under makes it more natural than going over, because I have one particular girl who competes now, and she's a beautiful girl, and they just look,
Under is more natural?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm asking the question because, like, Teresa, if you look at Teresa Vincent, go ahead.
And why I went over was two things: downtime, and at the time I was powerlifting, and I didn't want to be out, and I also was under the impression that you couldn't lift heavy if you had the implants, because I knew I had friends that had them, and the doctors told them you can't go over 30 pounds and yada yada yada. So it was the two. I didn't want them to F with my muscle. I'm like, don't mess with the muscle, just put it under,
under is better.
I went over. I'm sorry.
Okay, over.
But they didn't cut the muscle. It's just literally under the skin. Pop it in. Obviously, when you have, she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Over the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could have had.
Because, like, when I look at Teresa Avisi, is that her last name, George? Teresa?
Yeah.
It's her. They look really weird.
Yeah. I mean, Miss Michelle, what Michelle's about to say, Miss Michelle, what are you about to say?
I'm waiting for everybody to finish. No, so the first set of implants I had was under the muscle, because I listened to some friends at the time that were pro bodybuilders, and what happened was my muscle looked like a snow cone. It was like a point, because I had so much dense muscle in my chest that when you put it under the muscle, you're cutting the muscle, but you're putting it under the muscle, you figure. So if you put it under the muscle that is so hard is contracting, right? So it's pushing the implant.
Right.
So what happened was my implant was like a snow cone. And I freaked out. So after 6 months, I had it taken out because it didn't look natural. So I had it over the muscle, but it didn't go too big. I had it over the muscle and it looked natural because it's over the muscle. And then I was able to train my muscle as I was working out. My muscle was getting bigger. And, the implant is your medial pec. So, you're working. So I would always be working actually my upper pectoral muscle. So it wouldn't interfere with any of the muscle underneath. I mean, that was my whole thing. But yeah, so that's the whole thing that I believe that from my experience and from what I've heard, that if you're going under the muscle, you're not only cutting the muscle, but you're also putting pressure on the muscle, and the implant is really contracting. So, but I hear different types of opinions from other women that they go under the muscle and it looks more natural. So I don't know. Maybe it's because people's anatomy is different. I
Yeah,
mean,
because I'm looking at all you guys. I'm like, they look natural, but I look at Teresa and I'm like, what did she do different than you guys? That's
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
the question.
Mr. Whitney, how did you get yours done? Was it over or under, or sometimes you can either get it through
Yeah.
your armpit or through sometimes belly button sometimes.
Yeah, mine are over the muscle.
yours are over the muscle as well.
Yeah, mine, and for the same reason that you said, my plastic surgeon said that the when I flexed, the implant would deform if if it was under the muscle. I don't know if that's true. I've had female bodybuilder friends who swear by going under the muscle. This is just one of those things.
Right.
Debates.
Have diehard supporters, I think, on either side, but
Right.
I no, I've got big horizontal scars that go across each one. So that's where they did it. And that's what the tattoo covers up now, are the big scars. If you go on my Instagram, you can see like I said, I put it all up there for my pink sisters who are going through it. You can see what each stage looks like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is from a man here, Roy. And before we get out, Roy says this. Give you Roy for a second. He says that I'm not American. I'm not American. Okay. There are small gyms here, but last week I saw a girl poster of Andrea Shaw besides Seba. He talked about Chris. What's his name? The
Chris
guy who did
Bumstead. Chris
Bumstead.
Bumstead.
Yeah, Bumstead. Hanging on the banner of the gym. That says a lot. The changes are coming, guys. Trust me. Yeah. And Bumstead. He's another level of competition, but not the same as you will put about. I'm going to put up a young lady who is a Olympic level competitor. She's from Brazil. Her name is Lavinia Barros or Lavinia Rodriguez. This year she decided to get breast implants. She's only 26, 27 years old, and I think she just needs time to grow and develop as an athlete, and we should try to here. Put it up. And Alex, come by. There we go. And I think with her, she's still young, just being only in her mid-20s. When she competed at the Olympia last year, and I think she looked all right. I think one thing she was that she needed to improve her conditioning, and she was also very natural. I think her condition was a little because she took 15th. She's right behind Donna Salih, who took 14th at that show at the Olympia. But I don't know. I think with her, she's young. Maybe she can pull it off a little better than others. She says she's not going to compete till I think next year, I believe, because in the recovery.
She looks great. I'm just looking at her.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at her body, her breast balances the balance. That's what we're talking about. There's a balance between, they say
Yeah.
the boobs are to make your waistline look smaller, your legs look bigger, but there's a balance here. They're not. I'm looking at her. I can see her abs. She doesn't have to lift up. I mean, she's there. You can see
Right.
her abs. Quads are
Mm-hmm.
great. Chest is great. It's. I mean, this is more. This is more. These are more provocative pictures. But that's not what she's wearing on stage. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So there's a balance between there.
Right.
So it's just like the debate when there was a great article a long time ago that said, when do men start using gear? As far as and it was Kevin LeBron, Dorian Yates, Flex Wheeler, and Sean Ray, and they said when they max out their potential, and then that's when they went to what they did. So at some point in time in these ladies' careers, said, okay, what do I have to do besides train and do all the other things to get to where I need to go? Nicole Wilkins-Lee was one of the people who come to mind that got the boobs, who's like, man, all these girls got boobs, I ain't got no boobs, and now that I'm the 4-time Miss Olympia, maybe I should get some, and got some. But it brought balance to her body. So,
yeah. And like I say, she's still young. I mean, she has time to really grow. Because sometimes I know sometimes ladies, it takes you a certain point in your life before you start really developing your muscle. You know, you sometimes you hit your peak closer to when you hit to about your 40s, which I
But
often
look
see
at
like
that picture of the pink. Look at that picture of the pink. I'm not
that's
looking at
more
her boobs. Those abs look, huh?
that's actually that's an AI.
Yeah. Oh, it
It's
is.
a, yeah, it's AI. This is actually from a video she did for it's like she did this for Sean Nelson because originally this is the original.
But again, if we're looking at these pictures, I'm looking at the abs, the quads. I'm not looking at her boobs
Right, right, right,
because there's a
right.
balance. There's a balance in
Yeah,
her
then
body.
That's
Yeah,
yeah, her
that's before
boobs are not
before
overpowering.
yeah, that's before she get she did before she get the boob job. You really see, she has a great physique, has a great look to her. I think she has great potential. I was kind of on the fence when she did it, but I think now I think it fits her, and I think looks good. I mean, Brazil, I think they do pretty good. I think usually often I heard that the best place you usually want to get them done if you ever get a boob job is going to Germany. Well, I
Or
used to heard.
Panama too. I heard that as well. Panama.
Yeah, but it's about what fits and what works for this competitors. We got here some people coming through. This is my man, Warrior 2000. He's dropping this. He says, "I hope you're right." He says what his name is. This man from KL. He says, "Lavinia ain't too bad. She ain't too bad." And also, this is from Warrior 2000. Lavinia is naturally beautiful and in good shape. I could see potential in the future. Yeah. Also, Warrior says, she's perfect, not too big, not too small. This is from a man, Keith Hamilton. Raheem Hamilton. Sorry, Raheem Hamilton. Is Keith on the show? Dope. Yeah, he's on the show, Raheem. And also, uh, them AIs is a bit scary. Well, uh, it's all
How is it
depending on.
scary? How this?
It's KL. He just yeah. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. You got these three guests on the show. Yeah. Well, this is this is our three guests: Miss Michelle, Miss Wendy, and Miss Marianne, who's the usual. And as we were talking about the subject of the debate of breast implants, how important are to the sport. But when we're going to hold you ladies too long, and Mr. Keith, we're holding you too long because this is something that I talked about before. But this time, I really get people who, especially competitors and former competitors, current NPC level, IFB level, to get their thoughts on this. Because you know what, not a lot of people want to talk about this. It's a kind of a taboo, especially in the sport, and especially for y'all women, because you're even though you're a part of the sport, kind of like you're not as much part of the sport. As I said, this one thing about bodybuilding, the focus is more about the men. Keith, I say this quite often. You know, um, the men's division they're the bottom bitch. They're bringing the money. Everybody comes see the guys, but uh,
I would
the
debate
women.
that.
yes.
I would debate
Yes,
that because, like I said, the last Chicago Pro I did, we when we went on stage, there was probably 20 people in the audience, and everybody else was gone. So I would debate that. I would poll how many people are coming. And guys in my sport have said that. Oh well, if they want the money that we get, bring the people in stands. Well, shit, it's one ticket being sold for the show, so we don't know who actually is coming to watch who. You know, amateur shows,
Sure.
and pro am shows, by the time we get on stage, there's very not many people on stage unless it's like the Tampa or something. So that's always going to be a debate to be had, as far as you know, what is popular because it's just so many goddamn classes, and so who are they really coming to watch? Maybe they should, the IFBB and the NPC should do a poll on who are people actually coming to watch at these shows for us to have that discussion.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's always going to be the big debate, But truthfully, we all know that bodybuilding for men has been around a long, long, long for the women, and even though there's more divisions, it's just that if you look at All Inclusive Classic, how they get at least about nearly $300,000 for their division. While you look at the Olympia where Big Ramy and Heidi Chopin walk away with nearly almost $500,000. But then you look
Yep.
at Natalia and Andrea and Sydney and also Missy Trescott, $40,000-$50,000 here. It's not much. It costs y'all ladies a lot more to compete compared to men. Guys that put a banana hammock and a pair of board shorts, but
But again, that's what we're talking about. These women are changed. Some of these women who are getting these moves as we talk about this discussion. So now we're talking about at least a rack is at least $5,000. A pair of boobs is at least minimum $5,000. Hair, makeup, training,
Try 10.
supplements. Yeah, I'm just saying. I was on the bottom side. I was on the lower side. But think how expensive it is for
Maybe
you
in
ladies to
Nebraska.
compete. Yeah. But think how expensive it for it's like I think Wendy said I didn't pay for mine. My wife didn't pay for hers either, and I didn't damn sure didn't pay for them because I'm not a boob guy. But it's one of those things that it's one of those things where I'm just being honest. I'm like, hey, I can live without them. If you got them, you got them. And then she's talking about getting them redone because it's been 10 years or whatever. I'm like, whatever makes you happy, as long as they look natural and they don't look cartoonish, which she would never do. I'm gay.
Still married.
What did you say?
Reason why you're still married. You're
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
It's called
True.
compromise, damn it.
well, I'm a single guy on here, and I can say, like I remember, I love y'all ladies. I have respect for y'all. I mean, I really, I can never understand what it takes for a woman to be a woman. Like I said, I grew up with my mother, 3 older sisters. I worked with women for a long time. Like I worked in textiles, 13 with women, 5-6 years in a strip club with ladies. I mean, some things I can never understand. But then the things I learn if I listen. And that thing is we need to listen, and I think one thing is that instead again, it should be most definitely a set requirement. If breasts are important, cool. Just say it. Don't, but if it's not, then cool. This is what my man Raheem says, he says this, why is the top taboo? Well, like anything, it's always going to be a taboo when it's something that people are not
normal
talking about. Yeah. Like
it's not normal. Everybody's one. Here's the thing. I respect women, not because I'm married to a pro bodybuilder, but I've always respect the hard work. And as an IFBB pro now for 14 years, I respect what women do from the standpoint is y'all got to work harder than us. Seriously, that's just real. That's what's going. Y'all don't produce testosterone. Y'all don't have the things that we produce as men. So that's why I respect it. And on top of that, it's even more expensive for you guys than it is us. Like George said, we just put on a banana hammock and get on stage. We don't have to have the make and the tan. We don't have to have the makeup, the hair, the nails, and all the bullshit, the jewelry and all the shit that comes with it. So
$1,000
there
routine.
should be yeah, but it's like that's why at some point in time in the world, it's like women's soccer. They decided to level out the playing field for men's and women's soccer, saying, look, they deserve just as much as we do, and you're always going to have this transgression, WNBA, NBA, MLB, you're always going to have this transgression with men and women's sports. You got people who understand it and people who don't understand it. But in this time and age and all the work that women have put into it, and guess what? Arnold's not helping it. You
Yep.
know, Other promoters are not helping it because they're taking away now. They're taking away women's physique. They're taking away women's bodybuilding. When at one point in time, he disrespected Linda Murray, you
Yep.
know, and that's why Linda Murray can't stand his ass because it's like, you're saying stuff and disrespecting the sport because it's like you were commentating and at one point in time to go to a YouTube video where he used to do his own commentation. He do his commentation on Arnold shows himself and how beautiful these women are, but now they're not beautiful. But yet you'll have this new category like wellness in there where no offense, now half these bitches got butt implants and now that's what we talk about the
It's for the
implants.
money.
You got the ass implants and you got the boob implants, but makes that a category? Really? Let's be 100. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what is there to it? That's my question. You know, but again, we're in an industry where the IFBB and the NPC is about how they can bring more money in. That's why there's so many categories in for both men and women, more categories than ever. Because my client just did North Americans, and just for being there 2 days, 2 classes, and a hotel and the flight was 2 racks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the shit's expensive. So if it costs him $2,000, I can't imagine what it costs a woman to come do a show like that. It
Mhm.
has to be $2,000, $3,000, and now nationals and all this shit is like to enter a show is $375 to afford the. And then the crazy, ironic thing is that you, Wendy, for prime example, or Michelle, you guys go into a show, you win. So next year we hope that Wendy wins the show. But Wendy, next year after you get that pro card, you're gonna give up another $275 for that pro card. And after that,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
so
I
it's
talked
crazy.
about
Yeah.
this.
Hey, you want to see what it looks like? I got an old one right here. It's a little piece of fucking shitty ass paper. This from 2022. It's not even goddamn laminated. It's falling apart.
And
Yeah, this is what I talk about. This what people like. We get your pro card. You should get something like this. You should get. This is what covers.
Not
I have. This
this.
is
Not
for.
this
This is this
raggedy
is this
ass
is
thing that's sitting on
this
my
is my
desk.
thing for. Where I get insurance. This is like my health, my Medicare, my
Look at
medical
this
insurance.
shit.
You know.
It's
Right.
falling
At
apart.
least have it
I gotta,
laminated for that much money.
I gotta take this shit to Kiko's and get it laminated so it lasts a long time.
Yeah, I feel like this is my belief. There should be more because, like I said, Marianne, you heard me say this. Keith heard me say this, and Miss Michelle, Miss Whitney, you go hear me say this. You people are the product, and us people, the fans who come see you compete. We come to the shows. We come.
portrayed
We support you on social media. The NPC and NIFB should take care of their athletes. There should be something,
All right, so
for you.
tell people that.
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh, we do. Hey,
I
here's the
do.
thing. I said, shit. You might as well put us on corner stilettos for how y'all pimping us out. Shit.
Like
All right, well, then go ahead and do it so you know how we feel then.
yeah,
And get a taste of how we feel.
we should
Do it. Go on the corner.
like the say,
Hold up.
my small saying, like when your legs rock hard, we'll rock hard, and that's that's the aspect of it because if this was like any mainstream sport, you would have to need to do like some ladies have to do. As my man Big Keith says, I say quite often, the meet websites. That's what they are. We know why we come on there for. They don't have to do OnlyFans, this and that. They don't have to try to do a GoFundMe because a couple ladies I've known, I posted on my IG that they got to GoFundMe. Okay, I'll donate something if I have it, or I put it on my social media, maybe just to support. If there's more like a mainstream sport where we get your pro card. All right, you get benefits. You get this, you get that. If something happens to you, get sick, you're okay, or you're gonna go to a doctor. You say, hey, here's my FV card. Here's all my information. Here's this and that. Everything I need that the doctor might need. If it's something like this, those things that y'all deserve and y'all need, most definitely.
I great, but so fantasy land. You know what? If I go to a show, at minimum, if there's 20 girls in my division at the pro level, don't take half of us off. Make us come back at night and then tell us we're not in the top 5. So we already know we didn't get there. Bring everybody out. And then 10 girls, 5th place goes, 4th place, down the line,
But here's the problem. The biggest problem is like
I'm
in
so
this.
upset at the way that this whole thing is going. I've been in this my whole life, okay? We do have this poor lady, Wendy here, she had a mastectomy and she's still fighting for this dream. Yeah, you watch. That's going to be a story. But I just think that they run much better. Now it's you're entering the show. Now the tanning went up $20, the makeup went up $20, and everything is just escalating. And
Hey, and guess who making all that money? Gary Unit's making all that money. That tanning company at North Americans, that's his business.
yeah, no kidding.
So it's crazy.
You mean a second place girl that wins the physique division $300? Are you kidding me?
And the thing is, the $300 she won is the money that she put in the pot.
No, it's red.
Yeah,
Hey, Wendy, that's what you got to look forward to.
Yeah, we got my man. This is man Warrior 3000. He says this. He says pull up here. He says this. It's slow. I need a new computer. He says the day of the Rising Phoenix Pro, Arizona Pro, arriving soon after, other than Andrew Shaw, who will rank the first call out. We'll talk about that in a bit, but we're going to say here. And also, he says this, he says that, where he says, I'm a little slow. Usually I should have it in there. He says that, how could Arnold Schwarzenegger disrespect Linda Murray of all people? That's shocking. I from what ever since I started this content, I learned a lot of stuff about Arnold that surprised me, especially growing up watching his movies. It's not the tumor. It's like watching the Terminator, watching, and also, but you know what? Sometimes, some people just really true to true nature, especially if you are a particular type of criminal. And and sorry, Miss
Well,
Williams,
I mean,
Michelle.
come on. I mean,
I
this
bring that
dude
brother
took all
down.
his pictures off the wall at Gold's Gym. The career that made him. He had them take all. And when he ran for governor, we already seen you on the goddamn movie smoking weed. So who gives a shit? Then the president, and now Bush made you his advisor. But bodybuilding is what had made you. And I'll say this to all you ladies. I
That's
heard
right.
Kai Green. Kai Green gave me the best advice ever, and Dana Bailey followed the same suit. He says, use the sport for what you can get out of the sport, not what the sport can get out of you.
Exactly.
Kai Green,
Exactly.
Kai Green makes Kai Green's net worth is more than he will ever would have ever made in bodybuilding. Let's just say that. That dude's
Of
net worth is about
course.
$10.5 million. But Dana
Yeah.
Bailey, you think she gives
They,
a shit? You think she gives a shit? Her line at the Arnold Classic is around the corner. She can give a shit less. She's not making that kind of money competing in women's physique.
Yeah,
yeah.
Let's keep it 100.
she said she wouldn't come back because she wouldn't even measure up to women in figure. But it's like that movie in Players Club. Don't make the money. Don't make the money make you. That's the aspects of it. You know.
Pete
But
said
yeah,
that was really good. Thank
yeah. I
Seriously.
don't quite movies. Yeah, but
I
like
mean,
I
think
said,
about like I see my buddy Juan Morel. He's opened up a restaurant. He got the cooker dealer business. These guys are sitting there like, look, man. I mean, some guys just understand. Like Kai Green, who was the top two bodybuilder in the world, he just understood at one point in time that they weren't going to let him be Mr. Olympia. So he's like, fuck off. I'm going to start making movies. I got his shoes on right now from leaving the gym. Clothing line. He had a supplement line. He sold it to Redcom One. At some point in time, I mean, and this dude was homeless when he started this deal, but he understood the industry is
and the
so fucked
grapefruit.
up. It wasn't going to let him win that title over a field that he is
you.
like, I'm gonna go do something else. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what we all have to understand in this industry. We all have the knowledge to train people. Like Michelle said earlier, and Wendy said it too. It put life back into her. Michelle said, "This industry has made me money, so we have to use the industry as much as the industry is using us at this point in time." In my
Mhm.
opinion,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, this is like I said, this is a great, I enjoy talking with you, folks, because really, as an outsider, I'm really learning some stuff that, like the things I didn't know until I started doing this content. And people tell me to George, sometimes you gotta be, it's just there's a lot of things about the sport that you may not understand. Like one thing is we all know that when you're competitive, when you're getting ready, getting for especially both Wendy and Mary Ann, you just competed, you're risking your lives and your health, especially when you are
Mhm.
getting ready for stage. Michelle and Keith, you know that from the past. But
Mhm.
what with these conversations, I really get to learn something that most people don't understand. Who are just looking from the outside and just it's just something that is so much to this.
Yeah.
And I gotta give y'all people respect. I gotta, what you do and what you did and how you did it. I gotta respect you at that. Me, I have some bad habits, but still, I'm getting a little better, But I really learned a lot, and the debate about instead of getting debate about what you want to do, especially it's your body, it's your choice. If you want to get them, fine. If you don't, fine too. But I think instead again, be very reasonable before you think about it. You have to always think about it. Don't just do it just because it's popular. It's the big thing. It's hot and popping. Do it because you feel like it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Especially with you when because you did it for health reasons, and it does make you feel better. How you think? Well,
Yeah, I do just want to add, just in case there's some off chance that there's some woman out there who is in my shoes and is thinking about going into bodybuilding or doing a show. I work with my oncologist and my coach. They both know, my oncologist knows about every supplement that I take, what my protocols are, everything. I sat down with him in his office and we went through everything. My coach is knowledgeable in this area too, and everybody communicates. So just in
It's so
case
important.
any of you are out there who want to make sure your doctors are on board,
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
Dr. Victor Priest, who's one of the IFBB judges, and he had an art when they were talking about COVID, and he said this. He says the shitty thing for us as athletes, men and women, is going to a doctor and being able to be completely, transparent and honest with them because they judge you. And that's the thing that sucks. And Dr. Victor Priest said
right?
it best. He said it sucks that these judges, and he's embarrassed at the medical field that we understand. I'm not natural, and I'm never going to say that. I have a doctor who goes over all my shit and everything else. But at the exact same time, some of these doctors don't make you. And they make it uncomfortable for you to be honest and be
But
transparent with
especially
them.
for women, it's worse
Yeah,
for women.
yeah,
because
absolutely,
women have different doctors.
absolutely.
You have your gynecologist, which is because it's said again, men and women were the same race but with different species, and
Yep.
sometimes it's just you have things that we don't have. Y'all make babies because most definitely I know when you have your kids. I don't know Miss Wendy or Miss Michelle have any kids. It's just we men. This is how I bring it like this. Men purpose of life is to breed, battle, and die. That's about it. You
That's true.
know, and
Facts.
women, you are nurturers. You're creator, and then, like I said again, you're changing aspects of femininity when you take certain supplements, when you take testosterone, we take this, and then, like I said, that's the aspects where which you lose certain aspects of your femininity. That is your breast. I was watching this thing where this guy he got mad at a woman breastfeeding her child, but then there was some kind of a thing where it showed a bus coming through with a model with her boobs out, like when lingerie. You got to remember everybody's. I know I sucked on one when I was coming up because that's how my mother fed me. They don't want to see that. You can't forget that breast not just something to look at and to hold and squeeze and follow and do stuff too. They also were nurturing us. We were born. They say that humans milk. There's the stories of women breastfeeding kids up to 8 years old because I stopped drinking milk because it's not good for you. Milk, human milk is better to say, but I don't know.
8 years old, there are people selling their breasts online right now and making money to grown ass people. Am I lying?
Yeah,
There's
That's
yeah,
women who
it's
selling
true.
their breast milk online, not to 8 year olds, George, to grown ass
And
people.
they're making a lot of money with that. A lot of
As
money.
Michelle knows, for real, it's crazy.
A lot of money.
So George, if you're thirsty, you can buy some online, bro.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, no, no. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I love you, bro. I'm just playing
It's
with you.
I know you're playing. You're supposed to be bros, bro. You're supposed to be bros. You're supposed to be bros. That's one thing that we know we have. That's one thing that we consider our testicles. It's just but it's just how it's is. This is from a man Raheem. He says, great show. Shout out to Raheem. Thank you, great show. Also, this is from Warrior 2000. He says, if he's lucky, maybe Kagi will get enough money to perhaps start his own classic bodybuilding show with all the divisions competing both men and women, and maybe Jim Manning will prove it. I don't think Kyrie Green is interested in something like that. I think he really
No,
he's focused on
I don't think
more
Jim
things.
Mannion would approve it either.
you know what?
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Right now, especially.
remember, Jake Woods came into it, but The Rock at one point in time, if you guys don't know, was trying to buy into it, and The Rock outbid or the Jake Woods outbidded The Rock,
Gee,
for the Olympia because he wanted it. But The Rock, from rumor has it that he's trying to start a different federation, but with the XFL and everything going on right now, I don't
yeah,
know if that'll ever come to fruition. But here's the thing: it's hard to go against the IFBB. Lee Thompson at one point in time after he put the IFBB on blast and said that it should be more criteria with, and he was basically, and I thought they were, because the IFBB and NPC is some mafia type shit, and he put everybody on blast. Jack Tatone, Jim Mannion, Steve. I was like, this dude gonna die soon because he was talking shit on everybody. How Jack was sending pictures of his wife to the judges naked, all kinds of shit. I was like, this dude ain't gonna live very long. But he was trying to start a different federation, and it's like trying to compete against the NFL or the NBA. It's just hard to do.
Yeah.
So, I would love it, but I just don't see something like that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got here. We're gonna have this. I think we're doing pretty good. We won't be out too long, but we have this is from shot from my man Warrior 2000. He says, "This is how this show may be a bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger classic event show." Thank you, appreciate that. His shows may be okay. You talk about Kai Green.
We got to bring the ladies back on, George. We got to bring the ladies back on.
Charlotte Miller says,
Always about the ladies. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It says, Charlotte Miller says, I enjoyed the show today. Very entertaining, quite informative as always. Well, thank you. We want to be that because you know what? Sometimes people, like when I do my interviews, I like to be educational, but also informative. I don't want to be just basically who are you, what you are. I just want to get to enjoy good conversation. That's why I like to do my interviews.
And I've always said this about George, ladies. I said this about George. This dude is the biggest supporter, in my opinion, of women's bodybuilding. He ain't a fucking creeper.
Thank you.
He's not a creeper. He's very transparent. He's not a creeper. He's very.
Are you sure?
I'm sure of that. I mean, this man has sent me birthday gifts, my wife's birthday gifts, my kids, and everything else. He's very transparent, and it's a shitty thing that our industry doesn't have somebody like this at these shows representing and doing the format of these shows. Period. And I've said this, and I'll keep saying that shit because they need people like George on the show. Real talk. Real talk.
Thank you. My big brother.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Because if you ever looked at the previews of the shows that he does with these ladies and you ladies and talking about you guys going to the shows, it's an amazing thing that he does. And it's a shitty thing that a lot of people in our industry doesn't respect what this guy does. And I love it. And I love coming on this show and helping because I've been in this industry for 14 years now. I played in the NFL for 8 years. I ran pro track for 10 years. And this sport's different. And I tell some people, if I had to do this shit all over again, I don't know if I would because when I play football, we score the most points in the NFL. We win Super Bowl rings. I run across the finish line, we win. So for us in this sport, it's one of those so subjective point of views fucking things that it drives me crazy. Because, I always hear when I was a 4-time runner-up at USA's and Nationals, I was comparing apples to oranges. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, what? So, Wendy, I wish you the best of luck, in your next journey and next show. And hopefully we'll be talking to you when you're pro. Marion, it's always good to see you. And Michelle, was nice meeting you as well. But
thank you. Likewise.
I hope that we have you on this, ladies, on the show again, because clearly the guys love you guys.
Yeah, because we got some compliments here. We got here from this is from Curtis, and he says, "Oh my God, you ladies are gorgeous creatures." Well, I would say gorgeous ladies. Why is it creatures?
All about the ladies.
It's like like I said, it may not be the ladies, it may not be the 80s, but I'm down with the ladies.
Creatures.
Yeah. This is where the man Sean Miller. I agree with Keith. This is the best page for pro female bodybuilding fans. Well, I would say I'm maybe not the best. You still have
quit being so damn modest sometimes, George.
That's who I am. I mean, I don't. As you know, one of my favorite quotes is from Batman Begins at the end of the movie where Jim Gordon asks Batman, "I forgot to thank you," and Batman turns around and says, "You never have to," because and it's just that's my favorite. And this is one more. We'll go ahead and out this one here. It says, "Lovely muscle maidens I like," and this is from man Sean Miller. Shout to Sean, thank you. But here the thing is, folks, these are women. They are athletes. and whatever they do, how do you? I mean, some guys, again, if you're not a fan of women with fake breasts, you're not a fan of women who are natural. Just realize something. These are athletes. They work hard to do what they do, and like I said, the debate is always about what makes them feel comfortable, what makes them feel feminine. If someone don't want to go tonight, that's their fine, that's their choice. Someone want to do it because they want to do it because they feel, like I said again, like Miss Michelle said, and Miss when you said, and also with Mary Ann, it makes them feel more who they are. Some do it for their reasons, and that's their reasons. You don't have to like it, you don't have to love it, but you gotta respect it. You know, but ladies,
Always a
gentlemen,
personal decision.
yeah, I do like to thank y'all. You know, I appreciate the time you took out. I shout out to man Raheem Hamilton who came through here. He want to come on, but I can't be on too long. My computer started acting up. I should have had
Bobby,
that
you
hooked up.
got to get your ass off work earlier.
He said he wanted to come to the stream, but I got two people on here. I need a strong computer. Also, I'd like to thank my man Senator Millen, Curtis L. Jordan Jr., also my man KL the Wanderer. He's listened to it. Also, Warrior 2000. I'm surprised Balls Deep didn't come in here. Ladies, you will love Balls Deep.
Oh yeah.
Balls deep.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. He come in. His name is just. He's wild. He's wild. But
Hey,
we.
thing
You know,
we haven't seen 10 times over, right, ladies?
yeah, Michelle, you gotta stop right there, man. You gotta stop. Michelle, just take a deep
Oh
breath.
shit.
When you just take a deep breath, right?
Oh
Take a deep
shit.
breath. It'll be all right. We don't want to. But folks, we don't want to hold these lovely people up too much longer. I mean, I do appreciate their insight and their thought on this situation because, like I said, again, be who you are. If you feel comfortable as a woman and you want to get them, fine. If you don't. I mean, like I said again, me personally, I love the ladies with natural pecs. I like people like Jay Fuchs, Virginia Sanchez. I love Andrea Shaw, Sheila Black. I love those ladies. I do for all the ladies who do have them. I have other things in my mind when I see them, but that's just me being a guy. I am a
Hey,
bit
I
of
thought
creep.
you
Miss
said you
Michelle
weren't a
said like
boob
that.
guy. You said you weren't a boob guy.
I'm still a guy. I'm
See,
still a
Keith, you're
guy.
paying attention.
I'm still a guy.
Hey,
Here's the thing.
hey. As a famous person once just told me, Wendy. Hey, eyes up here, buddy. Eyes up here. Eyes up here.
Well, the problem is if they're short, you're gonna be like, that's the problem. If they're like, if you like somebody, like I know most definitely. Well, Isabel Short wears high heels, and I know I think both her and Alicia like 5'3". You have
Yeah.
no choice. If you look them up here, then you just go be drifted down. It's unavoidable. If it was like your wife's tall, you have no choice but to try to look up here. But if you're really short, yeah, there are times
Oh
girls you want
boy.
to dance so bad to me in high school, in one of the sweaters, but but that's just to me. But folks, I like to think these love people come on here and sharing their thoughts, their opinions, and this maybe not be your opinion or thoughts you might share, but if you do feel like you have something different, you comment in the comment section, share, subscribe. You ladies like to give a shout out to someone while you're here before we let you go?
Would we like to?
Yeah, because drop
Or
information.
tell them your IG, or tell them your IG
Yeah,
so they can start following
I just
you.
want to reach out to my granddaughter, who's 5 years old, just started kindergarten. Her name is Shannon. Mwah. And I love that she goes to the deadlift bar. You'd like this, girls. She goes over to the deadlift bar when she was 1 year old and was like checking the weight. So I love my family. I love the people to help me. George, you are just an incredible man. Thank you for putting this together and getting me in touch with some wonderful people in this industry. Thank you.
Well, like I
Always,
said,
mama. Mwah!
my quote. Like I said again, you never have to. Miss Michelle, well, you have any shout outs? Anybody you want to, while we're here, got you.
Well, I So there's so much I'd like to say, but so I just really briefly, I give monthly wrestling events that are for women empowerment, women bodybuilders, women athletes, and I just want to plug my Instagram just so that people know about it and they see what I'm about and just see how hard these women work. And you could actually come, if you're in New York, you could actually come and see them and just see what it's all about. It's a lounge-like atmosphere, and it's actually really celebrating the powerful woman and women empowerment and everything. And I'm just really proud of it because I've been doing it for years. So
what part of New York?
Really wanted to bring that up. In
what
Manhattan.
part of New York? I'm doing the New York Pro next year. I'm gonna have to come out there.
I don't know.
Well,
actually, New York Pro is in Teaneck, New Jersey. In Jersey.
Oh yeah. But New Jersey, it's not too far. It's only like maybe 20 minutes. It's right over the bridge.
Yeah, I got family in New Jersey.
Yeah, a few of my friends are. I think the New York Pro is in May, right?
Hey, yeah, George, let's go watch some Hey, George, let's go watch some wrestling.
Wrestling, not wrestling.
Yeah, you guys make fun, but when a woman beats your ass in wrestling, then you're not gonna be laughing anymore.
Hell no. I'm a country boy. You specialize in wrestling.
Hey, we need to have Michelle schedule a tag team match, George. It's gonna be me and you. She got somebody gonna whoop her ass, dog.
We have a lot of people listening right now. There's a lot of people listening right now.
Michelle,
you're scaring me. You're scaring me now.
Here's my one rule. If I was a female, you better smell funky. If you look good, you smell good. I'm not gonna control myself. You better smell funky. You gotta smell funky.
What? Smell funky?
Yes.
Smell funky? Is that a fetish? No, is that a
fetish? If you look like you, Miss Michelle, you're pretty and you sexy, you got a nice body, and you got nice food. I'm not controlling myself. I'm a man.
Oh, so you're saying you smell funky, so then you can control yourself. Okay, I got it.
You're
funny. He's not as turned on, Michelle. He's not as turned on.
Okay, now just a little slow. Yeah. But anyway, my Instagram is velvet.row at Instagram, velvet.roe. So if anyone's listening, anyone you're interested, just check it out. It's a really cool event, and like I said, it's for women empowerment. So, and I thank you for that.
How often do you do it? And how often does it happen?
Once a month. In Manhattan. Yeah. And I usually have about 6 to 8 women, female bodybuilders or athletes or wrestlers, all in the industry, very well known, some not known. And there's men that are fans, the fans that come to support us.
Nice.
Yeah. It's fun.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put your information in this in the description of this video, so everyone want to check it out. We'll watch the video again,
and
they can follow you. Also, Miss Wendy, while we got you here, we'll put your information. So share us your thoughts, and you have a shout out before we let you go.
Yeah, I loved meeting everybody. I'm still new in the sport and still coming up, so this has been really helpful, and I enjoyed giving my perspective. My Instagram is @Dudley'sKeeper. Dudley was my dog. He's on my right quad. If you see it, he's my soul mutt. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody. I'm gonna go do some hip thrusts now.
Yeah.
Are you doing
225 pounds?
Are you doing
less than 225?
No, yeah, you can't. I love you, girl. Man, I love you. That answers my question. I got 3 beautiful ladies that are at the highest level to answer my question. So when I go in the gym, I'm like, bitch, what are you doing?
And say it with confidence, because there's no reason that you should be wrong about that. Say it with confidence. Yeah. It was so nice meeting all of you. It really was. I enjoyed the time.
If you're a guy that's doing it, your van and drive home.
Oh, man. I like to say, I'd like to thank y'all, lovely ladies, and this great gentleman for coming through here. and sharing their stories and and giving their thoughts and their perspective about this. Like I said again, if you get them because you want to get them. Don't get them just because to sell an image or idea, or like I said, to try to make if you do it for marketing, that's okay. Because but if you do it for something else other than just for yourself, then nah, you shouldn't do it. But understand, like I said again, this is something that women have to deal with, because society is always going to see y'all ladies as not as women, but y'all are beautiful. Like you are beautiful.
Facts.
So
I'm a fan.
so
I'm a
anyway,
fan of all
folks,
you guys now.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave their social media stuff in the description. If you want to check them out, it's gonna be in the description link. Follow these ladies, support these ladies. Be genuine in your interest. If you want to sponsor, like especially Wendy and Marianne who's still competing, you want to sponsor them, do that. Help them out. That's good for you ladies to get this stuff sponsorship. But like I said again, I'd like to thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Also again, I'm gonna leave this social media stuff in the description. But guys, here's my rule: no pics. Don't do that shit. Stop it. Anyway, folks, this is Man on the Way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a good rest of your week.